This is Kai Cutter TV with another presentation. We gotta talk about this. Okay, guys, we got a little bit of good news on ICE for the first time in a while. North Carolina Senate passes new bill to require cooperation with ICE. The state Senate has passed a new version of a bill that would require North Carolina sheriffs to cooperate with U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, aka ICE, 2 years after Governor Roy Cooper vetoed a similar effort. The new bill, however, has a major concession. It only requires sheriffs to hold suspected illegal immigrants for ICE agents if the person is in jail on suspicion of committing a violent crime. So why would Democrats, leftists, and these North Carolina sheriffs, along with the Biden administration, be against this bill? This bill specifically says that ICE agents can only hold the person in jail if they're under suspicion of committing a violent crime. Why would you be against this? I know I always ask why, but it's really a rhetorical question because we really know why. These people are against Americans. China Joe and these leftist Democrats have policies that will destroy America eventually and turn it over to foreigners. Carrying on. Sheriffs who run the jails in their countries are already required to check the immigration status of people charged with a felony. If they can't determine whether the person is a legal resident, sheriffs must check with ICE. Under Senate Bill 101, sheriffs would also need to determine whether a person is in the country legally if they are accused of violent misdemeanors like assault on a female or assault with a deadly weapon or charged with violating a domestic protection order. Then, if the prisoner has a detainer and the administrative warrant from ICE, sheriffs would need to hold onto them for 48 hours or until federal immigration agents can pick them up. Whichever comes first, a judge would need to rule the detainer is valid. The goal, GOP Senate leaders say, is to keep illegal immigrants accused of violent crimes in custody rather than release them back to the community. Now, this is a no-brainer policy. Common sense is out the window if you don't agree with this policy. But then looking, the bill passed by a 27-20 vote in the Senate along party lines, with no Democrats voting in favor of the bill. 2027 vote in the Senate along party lines, with no Democrats voting in favor of the bill. That pretty much explains it all where Democrats are at. They put illegal immigrants over U.S. citizens and legal immigrants. What about the legal immigrants that went through the right process to become legal citizens or legal immigrants in America? Do we not honor that? Are we a society now when we don't honor when people do things the right way? We honor when people skip the line out? This has gotten ridiculous. So we got that and a lot more illegal immigration news to get into. Check this out.
A bill that forces sheriff's offices to help ICE agents detain illegal immigrants who commit violent crimes has passed the Senate. But as CBS 17's Mackenzie Stasko explains, some believe the bill discriminates against immigrant communities.
This group of community activists stood in front of the legislative building today condemning Senate Bill 101.
The Senate Bill 101 is designed specifically to target immigrant communities here in the state of North Carolina.
The bill requires jails to determine the immigration status of anyone booked on a felony or DUI charge. Anyone here illegally would be held for 48 hours until ICE agents arrive.
It hasn't been verified that bills such as this actually affect only violent criminals, but bills such as this one actually target the whole community. If in fact applying a law such as the one this bill proposes would mean detaining and deporting violent criminals, if that were the case, then that would be okay. But what we've seen in our communities is that that doesn't happen.
Senator Chuck Edwards sponsored the bill. He sent me this statement saying in part that it isn't an attempt to target innocent, law-abiding people and that removing violent criminals who are here illegally should be a unanimous priority. Governor Cooper vetoed a similar bill in 2019. If Senate Bill 101 makes it that far, people we spoke with today are hoping he'll do that again.
It's time now that these lawmakers understand that it's time to stop coming up with these ridiculous and discriminatory policies.
Durham County Sheriff Clarence Burkhead and Wake County Sheriff Gerald Baker have both publicly said they oppose the bill. It's now up for consideration in the House. In Raleigh, Mackenzie Stasko, CBS 17 News.
Activists in Portland demonstrated to once again demand Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE, be forced out of Maine. Activists from de-ICE Maine gathered in Congress Square last night to protest a new ICE facility in Scarborough. The group says that Maine real estate firm Maine Realty Advisors signed a 15-year lease to house the agency on Mason-Libby Road. Kelly Merrill, one of the group's organizers, says the family that owns the firm must be held accountable for bringing ICE to the area.
This was really to very visibly disrupt things in Portland a little bit. We held Congress Street 15 minutes, 1 minute for each year that Josh Soley entered into the contract with the General Services Administration.
Next week, de-ICE Maine says it is organizing with Scarborough residents to oppose a tax break being pursued by the Soley family for another project in Scarborough. Soley did not immediately return our request for comment.
A new video this evening appears to show a mass number of people crossing illegally into the U.S. at the southern border. Our News Nation crews in Texas say this may be evidence of human smuggling. So here is some of that video. You can see those people crossing in a river on a boat. Behind them, there is a long line of others waiting to cross as well from Mexico to the U.S. The person steering that boat wearing a mask. You can hear him at one point speaking with a person off camera, talking about taking the women, and there's also children, to the station. Democratic Texas Congressman Henry Cuellar released this video saying that he believes it was taken in the Rio Grande Valley. The representative would not say how he got his hands on the video.
Well, the crisis at the southern border continues to intensify as human smugglers are now bringing over large groups of illegal migrants in broad daylight. Take a look at this video. This was taken on the Rio Grande River in Texas. What you're looking at is human smugglers bringing hundreds of illegal migrants across the river and into the United States. You can see that the smuggler is calmly rowing a raft of migrants across the river as a long line of illegal migrants wait on the Mexican side of the border to cross. The human smuggler, who was masked and wearing camouflage clothing, can be heard exchanging pleasantries with the illegal migrants as they climb on and off the raft. The United States has seen a massive surge in illegal migrants crossing the border since Biden took office and reversed Trump-era immigration policies. Many migrants saying that they are flocking to the border because of Biden's promise to allow them entry. According to CBP, more than 100,000 migrants arrived at the southern border in the month of February alone, which is 25,000 more migrants than arrived in February of 2019. During the migrant crisis a couple of years back. Texas Governor Greg Abbott has blamed the Biden administration for the crisis, saying that Biden is enabling drug cartels to exploit women and children from Central America, adding that the Biden administration is helping cartels make more money. Earlier this week, the DHS chief pleaded with volunteers to help with the overwhelming surge of migrants arriving at the southern border. And now Press Secretary Jen Psaki says that the surge in migrants is indeed a result of the new policies set in place by President Biden.
To come and be treated with humanity and be in safe place while we're considering while we're trying to get them into homes and sponsored homes, that some more may have come to our border, and there have been, of course, a large flow of children across the border. We recognize that.